This week on The Watchman, a Hezbollah secret missile factory revealed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu exposes the terror group's deadly Beirut arsenal and has a warning about its Iranian master.
I say to the people of Lebanon, Israel means you no harm, but Iran does. Iran and Hezbollah have deliberately put you and your families in grave danger.
Plus, why are Arab nations lining up to make peace with Israel? Israeli innovation is one major reason. See how the Jewish state is blessing the Middle East and the world with cutting-edge technology. All that and much more, only right here on The Watchman. And welcome to The Watchman. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rocked the recent UN General Assembly by exposing a secret Hezbollah missile factory in Beirut. Now remember, the port of Beirut was the scene of that massive explosion back in August that left hundreds dead and thousands more injured. Many believe that Hezbollah had some sort of involvement in that blast, possibly through mishandling the huge stockpile of ammonium nitrate that caused it. A few weeks later, we had another massive blast in Lebanon, this time at a Hezbollah arms depot about 30 miles south of Beirut. And now, Prime Minister Netanyahu has revealed a Hezbollah missile factory located right next to Beirut International Airport and very close to a gas station and civilian areas. Here's more from Prime Minister Netanyahu.
So I want to show you the entrance to Hezbollah's missile factory, because that's what it is. It's right here. This is the gas company, and this is the missile explosive depot. I say to the people of Janach, you've got to act now. You've got to protest this. Because if this thing explodes, it's another tragedy. I say to the people of Lebanon, Israel means you no harm, but Iran does. Iran and Hezbollah have deliberately put you and your families in grave danger. And what you should make clear is what they have done is unacceptable. You should tell them, tear these depots down.
Now, Hezbollah, of course, denies that the site is a missile factory. And if you're waiting for the UN to take action, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time. So it's no wonder that Sunni Arab nations like Bahrain and the UAE that are directly threatened by Hezbollah and its Iranian master are now making peace with Israel. They see Israel as a powerful ally against this radical Iranian axis. Yet there's another reason for this blossoming relationship between Israel and the Sunni Arab nations, and that is Israeli innovation. Israel continues to bless the world with groundbreaking medical, scientific, and high-tech breakthroughs, and its Arab neighbors want to be in on the blessing. The book of Isaiah says that nations will come to Israel's light and kings to the brightness of its dawn. We're seeing that play out today in real time in these Bible times in which we are living. So we want to take a closer look this week at Israeli innovation, starting with a life-changing device that allows the blind to actually read the printed word. Folks, this is amazing stuff. Take a look.
What I have in my hand, what I'm holding here, is called the Orcam My 2 artificial vision device. This is the world's most advanced wearable assistive technology device for people who are blind, who are visually impaired, or have reading difficulties. With this device, a great deal of independence is returned to the lives of our users. What this device can do is instantly communicate all sorts of visual information by audio, such as text, faces, colors, money notes, and products. The World Health Organization estimates about 350 million people in the world are either blind or severely visually impaired. So we set out to develop a device, a very easy to use, intuitive device that involves very sophisticated AI technology that will empower these people who are in need of understanding the world around them. It's our second generation device, about the size of my finger, very lightweight. It weighs 0.8 ounces, which is 22.5 grams. In front here we have a camera. On the flip side we have a small speaker for audio. This side over here is a touch sensitive area where you can tap and swipe for different kinds of operation. And Orcam My Eye is a wearable device, and the most natural way we developed to wear Orcam My Eye is on almost any pair of eyeglasses or sunglasses. So on this pair of glasses right here, I have a magnetic mount. I have two little magnets on the device. I just snap it on, and I'm ready to start using it.
Reads any printed or digital text, newspapers, books, restaurant menus, signs, product labels, computer and smartphone screens, all become accessible to you in an instant. Recognized faces, real-time.
So what you just heard and witnessed took us many years to create, to get to this point, but in a very seamless fashion. What happened is I pointed to the text, heard a beep, took my finger away, Orcam snapped a photo, and remembered where I placed my finger, and one line above there started reading the text, converting the text to audio in real time. And if I didn't use the stop gesture to stop it, Orcam would have gone down to the whole page over here.
We see it from our customers again and again, the joy they have of, oh, I can finally read, and not technically read as we used to think about it. I can finally understand what's going on. We have quite a few students here in Israel that use our device, and I think we accomplished 2 masters and 1 PhD that use this device to read lots of text and study and learn and be creative and fulfill their dream of getting higher education. A kid with low vision needs to look at a friend, at a peer, and know who they are. And so we added this functionality as well. So this device, if you look at a friend, it'll tell you their name. If it's a new person, you can teach in about 10 seconds it takes to teach a new person, and as soon as they come into sight, the device will tell them the name. We have a customer who tweeted, I've never met him, but he tweeted, ever since I got the My Eye, I started trying other types of food. And apparently he had only one type of frozen food in his freezer, and he would take it out. He knows, he puts it 5 minutes in the microwave, opens it, and he knows what to expect. But now that he can read, he can get something out of the freezer, figure it out, what it is, know how to prepare it, and prepare different types of foods. And this is everyday quality of life for people that you can't get in any other way.
Up next, we head to Tel Aviv, the epicenter of Israel's technological revolution, for an up-close look at more life-changing Israeli innovation. Don't move.
CUFI's mission is to educate and empower millions of American Christians to speak with one voice in defense of Israel and the Jewish people. There's several ways you can learn more about Israel every day through CUFI's dynamic resources. The CUFI Coffee Break is a weekly bite-sized Israel lesson delivered to your email inbox. Dive into topics like the forgotten Jewish refugees, Israel's agricultural communities called kibbutzim, and the Hamas rocket threat, with options to dig deeper each week. Every lesson can be read in under 5 minutes while you're making a cup of coffee. Plus, stay informed on all the latest news out of Israel and how it affects you by subscribing to CUFI's Daily Briefing. It's a daily news roundup of important Israel-related headlines, so you're always up to date when it comes to Israel. Follow CUFI on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for daily content, including videos, news articles, breaking news, devotionals, fun facts, and more.
And welcome back. We're focusing this week on Israeli innovation. Watchman correspondent Raj Nair recently spent time in Tel Aviv with 2 of Israel's most exciting and innovative companies to learn more about some truly cutting-edge products that are changing lives every day. Take a look.
So welcome to EduBees. Now I've done a little research on this company, and the technology that they're creating here is absolutely fascinating. So what are they making? Well, the perfect person to ask is Karen, the marketing director of EduBees. First of all, thanks for having us.
Thank you for talking to me.
So what are you guys doing?
Well, in complicated words, what we do is we provide augmented reality for live videos. What does that actually mean? That's a big question. We basically put augmented reality layers of geo information for any type of video, live videos from drones, helicopters, even cars, and we provide through that situational awareness.
So walk me through that from what am I looking at? So if I see one of your apps working on, say, a live video, what are you guys actually putting onto that video?
Okay, so basically, if we're talking about first responders, like firefighters, and they're getting a 911 call and they're having to run to the situation, they have a drone in the sky. The drone is filming the situation on the ground and trying to figure out what's going on, where the teams are, which streets they're on, what's going on. I mean, who's at risk, who do they need to save? Our augmented reality solution basically puts layer of information to explain to them or show them really which streets they're on, what are the points of interest, where the teams are to save their lives.
So you guys are not just adding contextual help to people that are trying to do things, you're saving lives through this application.
Yeah, we actually are. We were working during Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, during the California fires, we were called also. We're receiving calls from fire departments all over the world to help them out because drones are becoming really popular these days. And but the drone on its own is really a tough one. I mean, you're seeing what's going on in the ground, but you're not really getting it. And when you use augmented reality technology on top of this video, you get situational awareness. Israelis have a heart. We care about people. We care about what's happening in the world. We care about saving lives, making the world better.
Okay, the next place we're going literally defies logic. I can't even wrap my mind around it. So instead of me explaining where we're going, let me just show you. Come on. Welcome to Tel Aviv University and the Department of Biotechnology. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the whole idea of 3D printing. So what are they printing? Let's find out. Dr. Shapiro, thanks so much for having us today.
My pleasure.
So, what's going on here?
So actually our lab focuses on printing and engineering cardiac tissues for regenerating the injured heart, mainly after a heart attack.
So time out, you guys 3D print hearts.
We 3D prints the mini hearts that you have seen. We print heart structures seeded with living cells, with living muscle cells. And the uniqueness of this heart is that both the structure, the materials that composes the structure, and both the cells can be taken from the same patients, meaning it's a fully personalized solution for tissue engineering, for building organs.
So when you say living hearts, this isn't plastic, this is actual organic tissue?
Yeah, the tissue is organic. The heart itself is not living in the sense that it beats synchronously and it can pump blood at this stage. But the cells and the materials are all, of course, organics. The cells and the materials taken from the patient. The materials are based on collagen. The cells taken from fatty tissue.
So how did this even start? You were just sitting at home one day and you're like, you know what, I got an idea. Let's print a heart. Like, how did this happen?
Actually, the printing project is only a fraction of what we do here in the lab. The main research is on what we call the heart patches. It's like a piece of heart tissue that we can implant on the infarct site, on the injured side after the heart attack, and then this patch fuses into the injured site.
So if someone has a heart attack and that tissue around their heart is defective, you can print a new section of that and basically repair someone's heart?
That's the goal. So we can base on the anatomy of the patient. We can based on MRI or CT scans. reveal the anatomy of the blood vessels, of the major blood vessels that nourish the tissue. And on the basis of that, we can print a vascularized patch, or in the future, we hope so, a whole organ.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour of Tel Aviv, and trust me, we're just barely scratching the surface. And maybe next time, when you ask yourself, what's the future hold, or what's the next big thing? Maybe, just maybe, you'll think of this place, the beautiful city of Tel Aviv.
Coming up, what was it like to walk the streets of Jerusalem some 3,000 years ago during the time of King David? One unique Israeli company is recreating that biblical experience today. Find out more after the break.
Traveling to Israel, the land of the Bible, is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that will revolutionize your life. This month, we're bringing Israel to you with CUFI's new Promised Land mini-book. While you may not have had the opportunity to physically step foot in this sacred land, we want you to discover Israel for yourself in a powerful way. CUFI's Promised Land booklet will bring the Holy Land to life and transform you. And this month, it's yours with your gift of any amount. On every page, you'll visit important biblical and historical sites within Israel that will transport you to the land of the Bible. Learn the historical and present-day significance of major sites in Israel, from the Sea of Galilee to Jerusalem. See the scriptures unfold before your very eyes as you follow in the footsteps of our Redeemer. Visit www.cufi.org/promisedland and receive your copy today.
Welcome back. Virtual reality and augmented reality, VR and AR, are two of the hottest topics right now in the world of high tech, and Israeli companies are at the forefront. I visited with one recently in Jerusalem to see how they're bringing the Bible to life in stunning detail, and all on a headset. Take a look. Well, John, we know that Israel is a booming high-tech powerhouse. We talk about it frequently here on the show. Now, one of the things you're doing at Yaturu is virtual reality and augmented reality, VR and AR. You're doing some very cool stuff. You're talking about immersing yourself in a different world, but what you're doing is you're taking us 2,000-3,000 years in the past to ancient Israel. Tell us a bit more about it.
So what we try to do is we try to connect tourists to the location that they're standing, where in some cases it's not so easy. So let me give you an example. If we look at a place like the City of David, which is an amazing site with thousands of years of history, we take our tourists to the ancient palace ruins of King David and King Solomon. So it's an amazing site, but if you look at it today, it's actually, as it says, it's a ruins. It's really hard to visualize that this was once the place where King David used to rule from. We take them back into the real, how it used to look and how it used to be, and to visualize, to help them really understand where they're actually standing, how it used to be, and the power it used to have.
And this will be a group of people, John. You have 10, 15 people there.
Yeah, of course. So we do group experiences and also individual experiences as well. On top of that, we don't just stop at the architecture. We also like to tell stories and to get people to connect to the history of the location. In the palace ruins, we start with King David and his young son Solomon, and they're talking about building the temple and all the drama and the tension surrounding those events. And so when a person then takes off the device, they can then really have a deeper appreciation of where they're standing, and basically they can take what they know from before, like the stuff that they know from the Bible, from other places, and also link it to the place where they're at and really, touch them.
You have the City of David, obviously. You also have segments from the Western Wall, and where else?
And we also have one of the overlooks of Jerusalem, the Armon Natziv overlook, which we have with the one route. You start there, you're seeing the Jerusalem from far, almost a similar view to what we're seeing over here. Yeah. And we tell people about the story of firstly where they're at, where they're actually located, and to give people a bit of understanding about the map and the structure of where they're standing, but also the amazing events that they're seeing in this amazing panorama. Yeah. And then we tell the story of Abraham and go on all the way to the history until we get to the City of David as the next location where we add on to that. And then we finish up at the Kotel area and tell the story of the second temple.
You're seeing the heroes of the Bible. You're seeing Abraham, King David. It's amazing. Okay, time for the big test. As I said, I'm not so tech savvy, but it's so easy to work. You and I were kind of messing around with it a little bit before the interview. So I'm going to put this on. And this is going to take me to the City of David, I guess 2,700 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. Definitely.
Is
And
that-
you'll meet our virtual guide there, Maya. She's actually an
That's right.
Israeli girl. She's a local native here, a 10th generation Jerusalemite.
Okay.
And she's the person there that will help you through the experience and take you through the digital world.
So she's my virtual tour guide. And
An
there's
amazing
Maya.
palace, right?
Here we go, back in time.
How amazing does it look now?
Wow.
That's King David and his son Solomon.
Father, does it not disturb you that you'll never see the temple raised? After all this work and preparation?
I would have given anything to lay the stones myself. But God has decreed the temple must not be raised by my blood-stained hands.
And at the center of the vast kingdom stood the temple, a beacon of light for Israel and all nations. As it is said in the Bible about Solomon's temple, "For my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations." Over here is the western wall, the last remaining retaining wall of Herod's temple complex. And that is Robinson's Arch. But this is what it looked like 2,000 years ago. Look around you.
John, all I can say is wow. I think the first thing that strikes me is the amazing detail to see inside. I've been in the city of David many of times. People have seen it here on the show many times. But to see it come alive in such extraordinary detail and transport us almost 3,000 years ago, absolutely amazing. You can tell that you guys really spent a lot of time on just the most minute, important details.
Definitely, we spent a lot of time with also going through all the history books and all the archaeology and all the things just to make all those details right.
Yeah.
So it has that real authentic feel to it.
Groundbreaking stuff. John, you're on the cutting edge, man.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, remember how we talked about Hezbollah's weapons stockpiles at the top of the show? Well, you're going to want to stick around for my final thoughts after the break as I share what Hezbollah is up to right here in the West. Don't move.
Education without a moral compass is this. This too is part of education. And so we must make sure that we begin the educational process with a moral compass.
Join Holocaust survivor and historian Irving Roth on a once-in-a-lifetime remembrance tour through Poland. His story of loss, survival, and hope will bring the pages of history to life as you walk through the streets of the infamous Warsaw Ghetto, the silent barracks of Nazi death camps like the one where Irving slept, and the memorials to the heroes who risked their lives to rescue their Jewish neighbors from Hitler's evil plan. You will be inspired and challenged to put your faith into action. Take advantage of this rare opportunity to walk with and learn from Irving Roth as he takes you on a journey of his memories of life before, during, and after the Holocaust. To register for this historic trip to Poland with CUFI and Irving Roth, go to the CUFI website and sign up today.
And welcome back. A top official from the U.S. State Department recently shared some stunning revelations that you probably didn't hear about from the mainstream media. The State Department's counterterrorism coordinator, Nathan Sales, revealed that Hezbollah has been stockpiling weapons and ammonium nitrate throughout Europe, in countries like Greece, Italy, and Spain. Now, ammonium nitrate is the same substance that caused the Beirut blast back in August, and Hezbollah is storing it in Europe with the full approval, no doubt, of its Iranian master. Not only that, Sales went on to say that, quote, Hezbollah represents a clear and present danger to the United States today. Folks, this is clear evidence of what we've been telling you for years here on The Watchman. Israel's enemies are America's enemies. So, take a stand with God's land and join our team at Christians United for Israel. We are America's largest pro-Israel organization with over 9 million members and growing every day. And for Zion's sake, we will not keep silent. Thanks for joining us this week here on The Watchman. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace.